Tonight on the hot seat, she's a woman quite literally made of steel or iron, if you like. She has 9 lives and she has managed to make her way through the political landscape in this country. We're talking to the immediate former Nairobi County Speaker, Beatrice Elachi, and this is her story. As promised, we have the immediate former Nairobi County Speaker, Beatrice Elachi. Mheshimiwa, thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us on the hot seat. And as we always say, every single Sunday, this is a show where we allow you to tell your story. So I want to take you back. Who is Beatrice Elachi from, growing up? How was home? How was growing up? How many kids are you? Family life?
Thank you, Jackie. First of all, I just want to thank you. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much, so do you.
Beatrice Elachi is a young girl who grew up in Western Province, in Kakamega County, Lugari, schooled in Kakamega, went to high school in Moi Girls Vokoli, and from there I came to Nairobi, as any other child will do, to look for greener pastures.
But I want you to just basically focus on when you were in primary school as a young girl. What excited you about life at that time? What were you looking forward to in life?
Well, at that time, I think what I looked forward to do was to be indeed a doctor at that time. And it inspired me until I reached a point. One time, when we were just in high school, we used to volunteer and go also help at Kakamega Hospital. And there's only one thing that I felt very disappointed one time, looking at a doctor trying his best to indeed see this patient not go to his maker. He was a man. And that's the day I changed the whole perception of the whole thing, because I felt, you know what? I cannot be a doctor where my patients die. Yeah, and it just killed my complete dream. And I said, no, I don't think I would want to do this. And changing that, I decided why all of a sudden I started liking issues of security and just looking at the army guys and admiring. And that's where I now took my career fully. Then the way we just come and life changes everyone when you're in campus, Then you realize you can do any other thing, but within the same context. So that's what I did. I went to campus and I did peace and security. At that time I was admiring the UN and my brother was working there. So I decided, let me do this career. I think it will take me that side. Then I did my master's also in peace and in security and security and governance. And from there, then I just became a security girl. I was lucky to work with Mishuke, and I think that's where I molded myself to understand how you become a good security person, how you respect, how you keep secrets in terms of government secrets, how you're able to ensure, if you agree, in Kikuyu we say, wanywa muma. If you agree this is how you're dying, you die with it.
Yes.
So I thank God I have that spirit, that when you tell me this is what we are agreeing and it has to remain with me, it will indeed remain with me.
So at a hot seat, tuko chonjo, tuko security iko tight.
Security iko tight. Iko tight sana.
So now you've done security, so did you consider like a life, a career in security long term?
Yes, and I also, that is why I also engaged so much in civil society, and more importantly, I became more interested in issues of terrorism, issues of radicalization, and I specialized in that. My wish at one point was to try and go into the countries that are in war and just get to learn and get to see what is life, especially for women. How do you find life after war and within the war context that we normally see, especially within Africa? It's been my desire, and I believe I've done a lot of consultancies also quietly within different security programs. But I think when you look at women in war, and after the UN gave us Resolution 1325, it was a prayer for many women in Africa that we will see now things change. It's so sad when you still see, for example, South Sudan, and you meet old women when you go to the northern side of Uganda, and you find that people have lived in these camps, and they've grown old. Their children have grown up. They are still in camps. And you look at the men in Africa, and you just ask yourself, what is this that we fight for? And you come back home and you thank God. Yeah, as much as we have all of these challenges that we face, we should always thank God that we've not gone that down the drain to live in camps and to see how life becomes very miserable. And that is why we can never, or we should never, as leaders and even political leaders, try and imagine we can think of a 207 in this country again.
How engaging were you at that time? Because as a woman, I can imagine it's very difficult in a sector like security. What kind of challenges did you face, and how did you manage to get yourself through that?
Well, first, yes, it's very challenging, and you'll always have men wondering, and what are you doing in this field? It's a field of men. And I know many other women, especially those who have gone in disciplinary forces, do face that. But at one point, I think it depends with who is mentoring you into that process. And I think the Let Mishuki helped us to understand. I know at that time we were really fighting the issue of Mungike. It was a very challenging subject or time where you meet our mothers, and you're supposed to tell them that, look, one, we are coming, and two, you need to talk to your child because 1, 2, 3. But again, when you're so focused, you achieve what you want to achieve. So the most important thing is to ask. At that time, I think he mentored us, and we were able to really appreciate. And that mentoring has helped not just me. It has helped Natembea in Rift Valley, who is the regional coordinator now. He was our boss at that time. And so you find that the firmness and the softness in terms of bringing out the words is something we learned from him. And going forward, I think for me, for this country, I think we need a few strict people, a few firm people who can just say a no is a no, but a no with a reason, and a yes is a yes, and a yes with a reason. And I think that's what the president is looking for, and I think that's why he has decided now to work with the generals, because they understand that. They understand that when you say you want this to be done, they will give you a solution of how it will be done, and you don't need to struggle so much. Yeah,
Absolutely. So from security, you make this shift to politics. Where does that even come from?
that security, by the way, I make a shift through Professor Wanjiko Kabira to now engage more on women issues, women and children. And I find myself again in the arms of Jane Kiano, the late Rose Waruhiu, Professor Wanjiko Kabira. And that's how I start now understanding the issues of gender. At that time, we would describe gender or in a very interesting way, very simple way for people just to understand what are we saying about gender. And that's how they mentor me now to the politics. We were now looking for the constitution at Bomas. And so with the women's movement at Bomas, then we are able now to engage with the politics. And then now we come to the banana and orange, and that's how I find myself in the real politics. Yes.
So you get in. It's, of course, you know, a sea full of sharks. You try, you try to maneuver your way. How was that for you? You get into, you know, parliament and nominate. How was that for you, getting into the world of politics?
Well, after the banana and orange is when I really understood what politics is politics, because at that time, when we were fighting for the document, we didn't care about orange, you know. For us, we were like, this document has all the gains of women. What else have we been fighting for? So if, as much as people are saying you're in government, we were in government because the document was a women's friendly document. And so when we fight, I mean, we would go to campaigns and you wonder, why are women really fighting this document? But that's when I realized politics is politics. So we enter into that. And then in 2010, after now the 2007 elections, and we join in, I and Honorable Yusuf Haji, Honorable Mudama, and Mr. Ivui, who was our chairman, and a few others. And now we start we're crafting a new vehicle that we thought will be the vehicle that will be used in 2013. And we work around it. That's how I now become an SG of a party. And then from there we agree, we realize, okay, the intrigues are deep, the interests have become more, and we want to win this election, and the president has to win this election. And we bring in a park quietly, and we say, now that we want to move to TNA. And I told them, by the way, as a Secretary General, it will be very wrong for me to just abandon my vehicle and move. So I remember telling Hechi that, no, the best we can do, I'll remain as the Secretary General of BAS, and then BAS will support you. And that's what we did. And I was very lucky. I got 1.1 million votes, 12 members of parliament, 98 MCS, a governor, and 2 senators. So indeed, even when they were shocked, because you know now everyone went to the ground. So I was left alone as the SG. I would go everywhere, whether it's Lamu, and I had members in the County Assembly of Lamu, in the County Assembly of Bungoma, in the County Assembly of Marquette, in the county. So it was a small party, but we did a good job. Very powerful, because now we are the ones now who balanced the votes for 2013. And that's how now I get nominated to become a senator. Being a senator, and I was privileged to be the whip, I think that's where I started now learning a lot about politics and how to play the game. Because the game of men is very interesting. It's not like, I think as women, and maybe that's one, it might be a weakness or a strength to us. We get a bit emotional, which I have learned. In politics, don't get emotional. You deal with the politics and just be you. If it is hard, it's hard. You just say as it is. But have a value where people will understand you, and how people will just look at you and say, when Elachi says no, it's no. Yeah, and you don't need to push me so much, because no, it's a firm no. It's a firm no with reasons. Not a no, but because in politics it's a give and take. There is a give and take where I can give, but there is the one I just feel now, men are about to tread on you. That one I just say no. Kiumane tulimane.
Kaende, kaende.
Kaende, kaende. So that's how now we get into the politics. Then I come and vie in 2017 we get 36,000 votes at Dagoretti North. We kina umana na Maisimbarati, who is now my best friend. And then, yeah, we agree it's a fair game. We've done it well. We are proud of it. We move on.
And I remember, Mhesh, let me cut you short. We were with you at KICC at that time in 2017, and it was very emotional for you. What was going through your mind at that time? This is a seat that you really wanted to represent the people. But I remember I personally saw you, and you were so emotional at KICC.
Yes, emotional not because of what has happened. Emotional that you can imagine. If I open these boxes and I count, definitely I know I've won this seat. But because you're just playing it, you know, safe, you just don't want, you're looking at everything and you're like, this is a man's world. If it was a man, they would be fighting and saying no, open. But for us, yeah, we just say as women, which I've learned, I want to tell women, there's nothing like giving in. This time round, we're not giving in. No, we are not.
Fight to the end.
Oh, yes, and fight to the end. And if you know it is yours, don't just give it, because that's the mistake I did that time. And we've come now. We get the seat of the speaker. We go in again very innocently, or we think, this is an administrative job, you just have to just work and use the law and work. Then you walk in and realize, no, this is now the real politics. Everyone has an interest. The interests are different, and the interests are not just internal but external interests. And the external interests are more dangerous than the internal interest, because the external interest just comes, puts money on the table and says, we want this. And if you are not very careful, you can use the floor of the house to pass many things that are not supposed to be passed. So I know at one point I was not very good, and definitely I will not have many friends because of some of just looking at the law and saying, no. We can't do this to our country, we can't do this to our capital city. That was one thing. So one thing I always thank God is, even if I'm told you are impeached, I always tell people, impeached how? You impeached me when I'm in Malindi, you did not impeach me. You feared to impeach me, and so you use a different way of doing that impeachment, which is, it doesn't mean impeachment. So I always tell people, when people tell me, I don't know, I have never been impeached. You want to impeach me, do the right process, follow it, and come on the floor of the house, prove to Kenyans, indeed, this Elachi is bad, and even I cannot face it, because I will say that, I'll say, indeed, nimekosea. But you do it in a cartel way, and you sing, you impeached me. You never impeached me.
But now, Mahesh, Nairobi County.
Nairobi County.
Nairobi, Jiji Kuu. The process of you getting to be speaker, and then, Yani, we have seen you guys mekula tiagasan. Do you need water?
Let me have some water on that.
Do you think there was like a planned effort to take you out of that speaker seat?
This second one, yes. Oh yeah. This second one, I will not hide. And I've always just said, let me just keep quiet. There will be a right time to come and tell the story. This second one, you use lies. You bring in that Elachi is very bad. Elachi, I was told I evoke the president's name. But you see, you forget, when I came back, I was given an ultimatum also by my leaders, who are the MCAs. And the first thing they told me, as we want to remove governor. You don't remove governor, you'll be living with him. So they come in with a process that was very clear. And when we are just about to do it, we are told, no, let's move, let's try this Article 187. I say, fine. Because indeed, it is my leaders who wanted to do it. For me, I'm just there to do the process in the right way. So now we become enemies because of that. They say, Elachi wants to be governor. I told people, by the way, Elachi is one woman who knows, I never wanted to become governor. So why do I want to become governor in this shortcut thing? It's not even making sense at all. Then they come in and they say, no. Then the enmity now grows. Then they start using, the same women will come, will abuse you. They'll be used to do everything. I remember I remained with, and I want to thank them, a very small but firm group. And that is the whip, Jundegwa, Millicent Mugadi, Njogu, the Mendo. I mean, a clique, Samora, very few, Kabero. Those were the only firm who would stand, Joyce, and say, look, and the deputy speaker at that time. And they will tell you, we are focused. And then now with the ODM team. The ODM team was a whole team. Then they wanted to see change. They are the ones who brought in the first impeachment. Therefore, they believed in the cause that we want to see change in Nairobi. And indeed, we want to thank the president for bringing in NMS and bringing in Badi. But then we have to be very careful in the gains we have gained so that we don't retrogress in those gains. So for me, I would say without fear or favor. I remember one time my SG telling me that we have seen many like, I think I still even have the message on my phone. That time I was a bit firm on the issue of leadership. And I'm like, let's just follow what the Senate has done. And he wrote to me a message. I always read and I pray for him, because I always say, you know, when you don't know where you are and you don't understand what we are going through, then that you can write such a message. For me, I took it very personal, that you can't write a message and say, we have seen many like you, and they'll come and go.
Oh, really?
So I want to tell my SG, yes, we have come and we've gone. But we are moving on in a better way, and we have left knowing very well we placed in an institution that you told us to do. I remember even now the war became more worse. Now everyone will use the different institutions that are there to fight us. So you find if it's at the AG office, when you read the advisory you're given, you're like, but this is our government. Why would you give me such an advisory? I didn't tell you to bring me 187. So when we are doing the right thing and you bring such an advisory, what are we supposed to do? So they started now just bringing in hatred, and it becomes very difficult even to do the work they would want you to do. Then we tried on. We even came now to Central Bank. And there is where now we hit the snag. I mean, I'm sorry to say, officers in Central Bank, you find at the counter, the games they play, for heaven's sake. I was like, no, it is wrong. And I won't fear to tell them. And I am still waiting for them. One day I'll open their words and they'll be wondering whether I've gone mad. But I'll tell them, you can never do that to a government institution. And especially when you're government to government. Government to government, you dialogue, you work together. If there's something that is not working, you sit down and you say, this is not right. But then when you start playing those dirty games, this is why we have not moved as a country, because the bureaucracy in our government really pulls you down. Even when you want to see that change. Even Badi, I want to tell General, you have to still remain tough. But this government, guys, will pull you down because, one, they don't like things when they move fast. Secondly, they don't like to see maendeleo, because now you are finishing their job. Yeah, they need to be in show. Yeah. They need to show that they are still working. So when you do roads 1, 2, 3, the way the president is pushing you, that is not their pace. Their pace is 90 days we are doing procurement, then we do this. So people are on work. Then for them is their salary. But for a few of us, we are like, salary will be there. But Kenyans want to see service and good things. And if we transform Nairobi, the whole country moves. Everyone will admire and say, we just want a Nairobi in Kakamega. We want a Nairobi. And that's what all governors are now trying to do. When they look at Nairobi, they're like, yes, it's doable. It can work. And it's the legacy of the president. And I believe this will be his legacy. This is what we will remember him for. So if we support him, the better. But I just want to tell our government officers, me being one of them, you want to move this country to the next level, let's stop playing these games we are playing.
Personally, as Beatrice Elachi, during your tenure as speaker, or even personally, wewe mwenyewe, do you have a fight with Mike Mbuvi Gideon Sonko, the governor of Nairobi?
No, I have no fight. One, he's the governor, I was the speaker. So where the fight comes is this. I also want to tell my governor. So governor, people come to him, surround him. They'll say, unajua ule mama anakupangia sasa, ule mama anakupangia utoke. Governor removes 100,000, tomorrow again. So I want to tell governor, stop listening to all these things. By the time he started paying the money and giving people this money, to date, why have things not changed? So Beatrice has gone. They'll start telling you now, so-and-so is about to remove you again. Are you going to play that game again? The problem was Beatrice. Weka pesa yako sasa, saidia watoto wako, wajukuu wako, keep the money. Do something better with the money. But these ones of people coming to lie to you for their interest of money, for their interest of running Nairobi, using you. Governor, get out of that. And just focus also. You know, sometimes it's good to focus on your life. I want governor to focus on his life. Yes, we are focusing on our lives. We are there. I saw people singing, "Si uchawi ni maombi." I didn't understand there was uchawi na maombi. But I want to tell them, you pray. Because if you think it's uchawi, ama uchawi is ni maombi, your God will come. Our God will come. And that day, governor sina shida na yeye. Aombe. Then sisi uomba.
But the Nairobi County Majority Whip, Honorable June Ndegwa, gave a very strong statement. You know, basically asking the governor, was he drunk at State House when he was signing off some functions? And I know this is somebody who has been in your corner. So are these sentiments that you also share? Was he right in signing off key functions to the national government?
Well, you see, I think my whip was just reminding governor, you are the one who has just said you were given some alcohol. So whip was just wondering. He said it himself. So I don't think she's the one now saying, it is governor saying. So whip was just wondering, alcohol, you were given? But you know, governor takes even in the morning. It's not something people hide. He doesn't even hide. So I don't know whether it was from his room, from his home, or from State House. That one I won't say. Because he takes. And the good thing, he doesn't hide. He shows he takes, which is okay. The only thing that is not okay is when you wake up and tell 4 million people that you signed something you didn't know. And they trust in you. Then they are wondering, how many things have you signed that we don't know, that has messed us up? And the Nairobi still will be your Nairobi if you can just leave Nairobians to get that maendeleo. And I think that's what they are yearning for. You know, they don't understand. I also don't understand that if I do good, I think that legacy will remain mine. And I wish that can be governor's wish. You don't need to do things people to see you, but actions will speak for you. So it's not how people speak on social media and bloggers and all that. That's not the action. The action is you do it quietly, and when you move. You see, when you look at Buddy today, Buddy doesn't need to come on television and say, we are too many. No. People will be asking him, we've seen Nishuki Park. We have seen the roads. We have seen the sideways where people are walking. But, you know, and he will explain, yes, I've been able to do this. We are seeing water. We have done 90 boreholes. So the action speaks louder. Yeah? Kizuri chajiuza. Kibaya chajitembeze. Usijitembeze. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I'll say, because pole. And people will appreciate. Yeah. And I always say, when you give, you don't give for people to see. There's no blessing in that at all. You want to tell me the president doesn't give? He gives to millions and millions of people. But the only blessing he gets is those millions of people when they go and pray. They know I have been helped by His Excellency the President, one, two. But this thing of giving unga and everyone must know I've given unga. Now that one you're not giving. Now that one there's something else you're doing differently. Because me, I believe give.
It shall come back to
It will come back to you. When you walk into those people, they'll just say, oh, so and so give. But this one, give until every camera and TV and the phone and the thing is there to see. Even God doesn't like it. God feels you have subdued my people to be beggars. You have made them to believe you are now the God. Don't do that.
Speaking of God and blessings, if you could look into your camera here, if you had a Bible verse.
Oh my God.
For Governor Ray.
Yes.
If you had a Bible verse, what would it be?
For my governor? I will read for him Psalms 91. But then I will ask him for himself to read Psalms 5. Yes.
What does Psalms 5 say?
Well, I will read it all. Tutatafuta kwa simu tu. But the most important thing, it says that the Lord, I think it's 4 or 5, hates the boastful and does not like the what would we call them, deceitful people or people with iniquities. And those are some of the things that I know most of us in our leadership, we suffer so much.
Are you saying he's boastful? Is he deceitful?
Deceitful, yes. Oh, my governor, yes. Oh, wait. That one I won't even hide to him. Very deceitful, very manipulating, first of all. Believes he has to get it all. And if anyone gets, he will fight until he ensures you don't get. So I want to tell him, no. Everyone was blessed with something. It's not just you who is blessed with everything. No. Your blessings are there. Count your blessings. I will count my blessings. But when you kill someone's blessings, your children, one day will be remembering all this. But they will wonder, what just happened to us? So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to be and deceitful in this manner. Don't go and lie about someone. Don't go and create a problem where there is no problem. Because when you create a problem and say, oh, Elachi has done what? I have never come on media to abuse. No. I have never answered my governor no. So what else do you want? I have only been firm in terms of the work I do.
Outrightly speaking, did Sonko have anything to do with her resignation?
Yes, it's good to say. One, when he decided completely he cannot work with me, and now they started creating again another narrative. Oh, we are going to impeach Elachi, and at that time there were many external forces also coming in and saying, look, Elachi is the one who is bringing this war. Elachi is the one who has made, I don't know, general not to do this and then this. But then I just felt also after that fight we had, and not really a fight, but this breaking in the assembly when we were on virtual, and guys just coming in, wanting now, bailing for blood for nothing. Oh, you must come out because governor has said. And I just felt fine. If this can help governor to cool down and Nairobi to work, why can't I just now go? Because first of all, I live when my head is high. I live when we have NMS. I have seen transformation. It means if we have good governance, Nairobi will transform.
A lot of drama at that point. And I remember especially that time when, again, the majority whip, Mheshimiwa Juju or June Degwa, inferring to the governor as asking, is he a wounded cat, you know? And then, and then, you know, now we see a lot of police presence. We see a lot of drama. MC has been wrapped up. Is that really how Nairobi County is working? Is there just any day that there's peace?
I hope they'll have peace. I think I was a problem. So I'm hoping not to see any more war.
Do you think you were the problem?
Well, they felt that. So if I have left, I hope they are not going to go in any drama again. Let me be the drama and the drama that left. That should be the way forward of Nairobi County. And so I just pray. The only thing I am disappointed by the party is that after all what that leadership did, bringing in NMS and working so hard to see general work, and my SG just comes and decides to punish the members. So it is better than more being on Sonko's side than the other side, because you will be hit so hard. So I don't know whether it is wrong to support the president. I didn't understand my party at that time, and I have not understood it up to now. If government comes and says you need to remove them, you become an enemy. So there are many interests, not just those interests of approvals, you know. Flats have been approved in Parklands, 10th floor. You just come in, somebody gives in some money, he goes to 13th floor, same in South Sea. And that's why we have just a disorganized place. Today, Kilimani has become an area where I'll say it's the most dangerous area in Nairobi now. Why? We have too many clubs in houses, in furnished apartments. Everything is just happening, wash, and all that. And these are the things that we need to look at. And for us, I think those are some of the things I was like, it can't be happening in Nairobi, not very close to where we have the police, and everybody is in that racket. So the cartels, yes, and they are strong, and they will take any ring to ensure they survive in the business.
So, City Hall, corruption.
City Hall. Well, what watakwambia corruption iko, maana by the time you're coming to pay your land rate or something, you find somebody else playing a game with you. You find somebody else saying, oh, bring it, Jackie, we'll do it for you this way. So we don't need to run away from it. It is there. And we need to sort it out. And I think General was trying, and he's going to try to sort it out. So we can't run away at hakuna corruption. No, it will be wrong. Corruption is there. It's really biting us. Nairobi can bring revenue that we have never seen. Even in this COVID, we can, if we just organize properly, we can get the revenue that is needed to help other counties. Yes.
So back to your resignation. Was it sanctioned by powers that be?
No.
Were you promised any position?
One, no. Secondly, I think it shocked me. It shocked the powers to be. No. If I had given a notice,
early morning.
Yes. If you do it early morning, it means you woke up very clear in your mind, knowing this is what you're going to do. So that's what I did. And I think when I did it, I just said, if there will be an opportunity at any given time and given, I'll do the work. If not, I will move on and do other things. There are many things we have to do. We are waiting for the BBI. After COVID, I think we learned a lot of things. Most of us went to agriculture. We are going to survive there. There's a lot of waste, which we need to be asking ourselves as a country. Now that many people have done agriculture, how do we help not to have waste? And so we are just thinking around. And as we write the book, because the book will have now the real story of Nairobi. And and I'm looking for a few sponsors to support me in the book, and then we'll do it. But the drafting, we have started slowly by slowly, just picking a few pieces here and there and just putting it.
Can you get a sneak peek on the hot seat or none of the hot chapters in the book?
I think the hot chapters will be the... Let me not talk about it. But it will be a very hot chapter. a hot chapter about that Jubilee. Oh my God. And how they move, they are supporting the president, Kidogo, they are the ones manipulating. Yeah, that one has to be there.
It will be there.
It will be there.
2022, any ambition there?
Yes, going back to politics, going back to the Gorichi North. And we are hoping this time we will do good decisions in terms of which party do we go with. Is it the party that the people want on the ground? But more importantly, sell our policy and ensure we win the seat.
All right. You're very passionate about security and politics and women issues. But how do you balance this when you go back home and, you know, you have to be a mom and you have to be very caring, you know, how do you balance that out?
Well, I would say of late I have tried, but in between the wars of Nairobi, I remember my daughter, who is 12, she asked me, Mom, why is it that you people go to work when you're drunk? What is all this fight for? So I asked her, what do you mean? She said, your leaders were drunk, Mom. And from that time is when I started saying, you know what? It's good to start thinking how to leave this job because, and then at one point I know where the house of the governor used to be. So we are just near. So when they realized he's coming there, and they were just terrified. And they told him, Mom, we are moving. We are moving. We are going to be killed now. We are going to be killed by all these boys. We're going to be killed. We know your people are not good. These are my kids. Very terrified. So I just want to tell Governor, I know my kids are very terrified about you. I don't know why. They're very terrified, and it's good to tell Governor. They pray a lot about it. And it's not very good when young, because I have 6, I have 12. The rest, I know them, they always just say, you know what, Mom, this job of yours was never the best. You can't be fighting every time, even when we're on campus, people are worried, you're about to be killed. And so, yeah, so I just want to tell him, one of the things I just want to plead with him is that I know he really wants to come there, but he needs to wait. Maybe we have to move, because I don't want my children to be tortured again by him. Yes.
It's crazy. Is there, you know, any thought in your mind that one day you guys can share a table, share a meal?
I have no problem. Oh, sharing a meal, but Sonko fears. Even a table, even the water, he will say, imagine, so now, yeah, so now when he says, imagine, it means he fears so much. So I don't think he will want to share. He will think, oh mama, ntaka kuniua, oh mama. I'll just tell him, no, come on. Get on and be yourself and have a life that has no fear. It's only God who can take you away, not a human being. So that fear, you know, one time when we were at State House, he picks the I pick the microphone, you know, and we have just arrived. So, I mean, it's a microphone that has just been, I'm like, what? What the hell just happened there? So I'm like, oh, come on, what's this? But I just prayed in my heart. I said, God, they're thinking of my governor of some things that are not even supposed to be thought of. So I just want to tell him, yeah. But the things he does, yeah, we also fear. Because when you hear somebody saying, Kunya, it means maybe those are some of the things you do. So he has to stop that.
Yeah. If, say, you know, he were just to wake up and decide, you know, I want Elachi to be my DG. You take it up?
No, I'll say thank you.
Thank you, but no thank you.
No, I'll just say thank you. I mean, I've left. Yes, so I don't need to be a DG.
You wouldn't go back?
No.
At all?
No. I left. And I think Igada was more smarter. He left earlier. He knew ni mukorogo ingine yenye ieleweki. Yeah. And then my governor will say in Kiislamu, nitakuombea albadiri. You know, he told us one day with Whip and Millicent Mugadi, nini nitaombea albadiri? I said, tutakuombea hafithi basi. So, and I looked at him, I wondered, you know, But because I have many good Muslim friends and I can understand at least the Quran Kidogo and these things, I'm like, why do you think evil every time? Yes.
It's good to have peace.
It's good to have peace in himself.
Yes.
I really pray for him to have peace in himself. That it will help him. Yeah.
Back to motherhood as we wrap up. Any of your kids probably thinking of following in your footsteps in politics?
Will they think after all this we've got? Well, I have a the 12-year-old. That one might in the future. Yes, because she is always, she will ask you questions in politics and you wonder, okay, that's okay. The Zena is the one who just told me, why did you resign on the president? You can't do that to the president. I'm like, no, I didn't resign in a bad way. No, you know, Uhuru is good. Why did you resign, mom? That's not very kind. I said, oh, but her she's 6, so you know how she look. Yeah. But this other one, she was like, yeah, it was even time.
Oh, really?
so everyone was with their tones, and I was like, okay. So yeah.
But you're on good terms with the boss, His Excellency.
Yes. We have no issue. Yes, and he knows that it's for the better of Nairobi. If indeed I am the impediment, or I am the one who will not make things work for his legacy, the better.
What seat are we looking at in 2020?
We are just looking at the Dagoretti North seat. Yeah. We don't want Manenuming. We've invested so much in it. And it will be more better just to go back and see where we left. I know we've been a bit off because, one, we have a member of parliament who has to do his work. We don't want to go on the ground and then we start again. It's as if we are fighting. We just want him to do his work and then we'll come in the right time.
And we wish you all the very best, even as 2022 comes, and keep inspiring, our future generations to be as tough as you are.
Well, I just want to tell our young people, our children especially, that one of the things I have realized is that we have an opportunity, and God has given us that opportunity, and we have very many young people in the assemblies and in parliament. Now, if we are not performing now, then we will be lying to our other peers that who are looking up upon us, upon them to see change. And therefore, let us not talk about young people don't have space. The space you have been given is a space we need to prove that indeed when young people are in those positions, they are able to change and know that they are there to change what has been happening for the betterment of their peers who want to come into the same field or ensure in the other jobs they are able to take over the country.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for joining us in the hot seat. I wish we had more time. There's so much to talk about, but then we'll do a round 2.
We will, at one point.
Thank you so much for joining us in the hot seat as always, and we shall see you next week. Many thanks to Swiss Lelena Mount Hotel, where we have the pleasure of shooting this week's episode. We'll catch you on Sunday. See you.